morning, everyone. My name is Miriam Altman. I'm co-founder and CEO of Kinvolved. Kinvolved is building a movement that is elevating student attendance by making sure that parents are involved in students' education. I want to start by telling you a little bit about my background and introducing you to someone who's very special to me. This is my student, Alexandra. And over the course of my time as a teacher, I was a teacher in New York City public schools at a high school. I taught hundreds of students who were not dissimilar to Alexandra. As you can see in this picture, she's holding her cap and gown. This was her graduation day from high school. And you can also see the beaming smile on my face. I was grinning from ear to ear. And that was because 4 years prior, when she was in my class in 9th grade, I honestly wasn't sure she was going to make it to that day. And that was because within the first 6 weeks of school, she had already become what we now know is termed chronically absent, not something I knew as a new teacher at the time. But what that means is that she'd missed many more than the 10% of school days that would make her chronically absent. In fact, she'd missed 50% of the school days. As a result, she was failing my and all of her other classes. As a new teacher, I was frustrated because I knew that in my big high school where I attended in Minneapolis, if I dared cut class, my parents would have been receiving a robocall at the very least, but perhaps a personalized phone call in that case. And so I assumed that our school was communicating with parents at least on that basic level, and that parents like Alexandra's mom were choosing to be disengaged and not follow up. But what I found was that when I started to meet parents like Alexandra's mom at the parent-teacher conferences at the end of that first marking period, for Alexandra's mom, she pulled out the report card, piece of paper printed out. This was the first time that she was receiving information about her daughter's chronic absence, again, 6 weeks in the school year, and corresponding grades all failing at the same time. Alexandra's mom, understandably, was very embarrassed, actually. She didn't speak English as a native language, and she had a hard time communicating with the school. We also learned her phone number had changed, and so the robocalls we were sending out to her she was never receiving. So the good news is that when I was able to have this intervention with Alexandra's mom, we had this realization. Alexandra's mom and I were able to have an instant communication loop following up after that conference. Alexandra's attendance, of course, improved. Her academics followed suit, and she graduated from high school. I'm really proud to say for this kid that she's actually graduating this month from St. John's University in Queens, which is really amazing. Unfortunately, I had hundreds of kids in my class at any given time. And when I went back to her graduation, only about 50% of the kids who'd started in her class in 9th grade with me as their teacher were walking across that stage on that graduation day. And my heart sunk because I knew that if we'd been able to scale the type of intervention that I had with Alexandra's mom, we could have changed the life trajectory for many, many hundreds of those kids. So I went to graduate school. I left the classroom to study policy. I did some research with my co-founder, and we found that, not surprisingly, attendance is really important. But in fact, it's actually the most important leading indicator of graduation rates from high school. And we can start to predict these patterns as early as pre-K. The leading researcher on this topic has gone so far as to say that if we could improve attendance alone without making any other improvements to our education system, just getting kids in the seats, we could dramatically improve performance in school, high school graduation, and college attainment rates.
This is Kinvo, your attendance headquarters.
I'll show you the product.
With Kinvo, teachers and administrators can take daily or period attendance in a matter of seconds. They can track reasons for absenteeism or minutes of lost instructional time. And after taking attendance, they can simply save this data, or they can save and send to automatically communicate with parents and families of students who are late or absent through simple text messages or emails. Use the default messages, write a message on the spot, or choose from a library of frequently used messages to save you time. Because Kinvo sends simple text or email messages, there's no barrier to entry. No need for parents to download an app, remember a password, or even have a smartphone. And the best part? Parents and families can easily write back, opening the lines of direct communication, making it easier for teachers to partner with families and stay on the same page about their students' progress. In the Kinvo app, teachers like Alexandra can also communicate with parents and families about other topics relevant to student success, such as grades, behavior, and school events. We know that less time sending out reminders translates to more time working with students and collaborating with colleagues. So using Kinvo, teachers and administrators are more efficient by messaging groups of contacts or even an entire class's contacts in the same amount of time it takes to message just one. Even though Alexandra is using her own phone, all of her conversations with parents and families and coaches happen within her Kinvo app. This means her personal contact information is kept private and that she's never charged with messaging fees. Kinvolved, because we know that every minute matters.
So what you didn't see in that demo video is that what we are working on in addition to what you saw here is actually triggers and reminders just to make sure that people are inputting attendance data into either our system or their SIS. That's critically important. We know that's the main pain point of districts is just getting the data in there so that you even have it accurate, right? Second, we're working on functionality to help increase the likelihood that contact data, like Alex's mom that I mentioned, is accurate. We have integrated with many student information systems. That's pretty critical when you're working at the district level. We basically pull attendance data from the SIS. I can get into that in greater detail if there are questions. We've enabled communications features like two-way translations, the ability to send photo messages, and then finally, what you won't get with individual teacher tools, of which there are a few on the market that have some similar functionality, is administrative oversight, of course, which is a huge thing for a lot of our principals and district leaders. We also think it's critically important to be measuring our impact. So what we found was that last school year, the schools with which we worked increased attendance at a rate that was 13 times better than the average school that did not work with us. We also interviewed hundreds of parents, students themselves, teachers, and administrators. We heard many stories like this, where by using this simple product to make sure that parents weren't in the loop in a consistent and wide-scale way, students were actually improving their performance in class, and they were graduating, and they may not have without this. We believe that partnership and not just providing a tech tool is critically important. For that reason, one of the things that we provide is really thoughtful implementation behind the product, professional development that's customized for districts, and we host events like this that we hosted in New York City Public Schools, which was widely oversubscribed. We have, in addition to shown impact, grown our user base significantly in the last year. The revenue that we've been generating has grown significantly in line. And we know that our customers are happy because 95% of them are renewing year over year. We are expecting the same rate for the upcoming school year. Right now, we're not actually seeking investment funding. We are looking for grants. About a third of the funding we've raised so far, even as a for-profit, has been grant funding. We will be raising another investment round in about a year or so love to start those conversations now. And so with that, I hope that you will join me to learn a little bit more about the program. Certainly be in touch, and I thank you so much for your time.